Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Biker Map Live radio podcast on podcastradious.com every Monday at 11 a.m. We're sponsored by House of Trikes and Bikes located in Fort Myers and a special guest in the studio. Well, listen, I'm going to turn it over to your hostess, the hostess with the mostest. This is Patty P.
Well, that's so gracious of you, John. Thank you so much. We are so excited and we are looking forward to this. Bob Tabarrini, thank you so much for coming in today.
It was so great to walk in and see literally a room full of my friends.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Everybody was hugging and high-fiving and everything. That was amazing.
The love is real.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Yeah, so you're also known as Sideshow Bob.
I am. It's my alter ego.
And we talked about this before. I'm a little bit upset with this thing because, Bob, just so you know, when this show was started years ago, they wanted to come up with a name for me. And because you were Sideshow Bob, I wanted to be Sidecar Johnny.
No.
But they thought that was a little bit bitch-like and did not accept me as that.
No, Johnny Throttle is so much better, don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You have to have a name. So Sideshow Bob, where did that come from?
I'm a Simpsons fan, and my solo career was always never my main job. So it was kind of like the dumbest little tongue-in-cheek pun that I could come up with because my band has always been my priority. My solo show has always been my side project. So Sideshow Bob, it seemed like the next logical evolution.
Yeah, that does make sense. So because you're actually part of Red Hannah as well, and Red Hannah is an amazing band here as well.
I feel so fortunate and grateful to get to play with those guys. You know, Roger and I were talking about Vic, the bass player. Him and I have been playing music together for 20 plus years. So not only is he just an amazing musician, but he's just an emotional and mental anchor for not only me personally, but for every project I've ever been in. Like, I'm the crazy, business seeker-outer of opportunities,
Sure.
and Vic is the tether that keeps me anchored to make sure I don't drive the bus off the cliff. So it's a really nice yin-yang. It's an amazing partnership.
So they let you out a couple times just to play by yourself, just a little bit.
I'm an adventurer by nature. So that's why when we talked about doing this, you know, I had no idea that you guys were going to be the two gentlemen in the room.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my friends John, and I'm looking at my friends Roger. If you guys are not listening to if you're listening to this and not seeing it on a video podcast, but these guys are literally some of my oldest industry friends. And when I say industry friends, we became friends through the industry, but then our friendship kind of expanded outside of that because I guess our values aligned and how much we believe in Florida music and that it takes people to keep it moving. So it really is. It's a coalition of coolness. Let's just say that.
To talk about Bob's dad passed away what year?
2010.
And right after that, you and your brother, right, John, got together and formed a foundation to honor your dad. Is that correct?
That's exactly accurate. And it was not just my brother John, but it was my brother Steve, my brother Vic, my sister Carol, and my sister Jean. And I kind of spearheaded the movement because I think that, you know, as I was getting ready to lose, you know, someone that was not only my father, he was also a mentor. He was also the one that put that first guitar in my hand. So it was a pretty rough time in my mental space. And I was like, how am I going to kind of move forward from this? And the idea was, well, as I thought about it, he was still in the hospital and I was visiting him. And I was like, well, what did he stand for? What did he believe in? And I was like, my brother Steve kept bringing up a Bluetooth speaker so that when we could each go in there, my dad had lost the ability to speak. And so we were talking, we'd kind of get frustrated. So the best way for us to kind of hang out with him was just to everyone just bring their songs. And so when he was in the hospital, we would just kind of like have a little jam session with him. Like Steve would play the songs that they connected with. I would play the songs I connected with. And I was like, my dad loved music and he was not a musician. Wow. So I kind of had the idea, I'm like, well, my dad put that guitar in my hand. And why don't I just pass that gift that he gave to me along in his name to the future? And it has been not only a mental anchor for me to kind of process this. Every time we do this, it keeps him close to my spirit. And it also feels like we're really making a difference. 14 years later, it's still going.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what this is the Tabarrini Foundation that provides instruments for young people or people that just can't afford them.
That's exactly what we do.
And that's not only when you said it keeps you. When you said the spirit part of it, that's what I think about is the spirituality of what we do and how we carry ourselves today.
It is. It's one of those things where sometimes you kind of feel like there's a bigger bigger elements at play. I kind of feel like he's watching over my shoulder, and when I'm ready to make a wrong move, that he will kind of steer my ship in a new direction.
Either him or Vic.
Yeah, well, I need that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I need the counsel of my friends, because me on my own, we see, you know, I don't always make the best choices and the best decisions. So I need counsel, whether it's from this world or from beyond.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Was when COVID hit. And COVID, you actually went and played, even though you couldn't. Like, all the restaurants were closed.
That, right?
And I said, wow, you know, he really is a part of this community and wants to help people, because you would just open your trunk and you would start playing, like, no matter where you were, right?
Outside people's houses.
Yes. He would
Yeah, I mean, I guess I
tour
could-
the neighborhood.
I can explain to people that don't understand what I was doing. I was doing a music delivery service. So I would drop off little half-hour shows like you would drop off a pizza.
Yes.
So somebody would just throw an extension cord down the end of their driveway, and I would just literally pull up. I would pop my tailgate. I'd put a speaker on a stick, and I would blast out, you know, either a half-hour or a 1 hour show. I wasn't trying to do full 3 hour
Right.
shows. Just enough to kind of turn. It definitely turned my day around. Like sometimes I would do 3 to 4 shows in a day, because I would go to this place.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would only play to 2 people, and you would think it would be weird. It was not weird at all. We would bond and connect over the magic of music, and the emotional healing that would take place. It changed how I look at my job. It really does.
Sure. Yeah, you have done some great events that I've been to. Like, you did David Sandvich's birthday party.
Fun, right?
Remember that? Yeah, that was fun.
Well, that's another great thing about my job, and I think that COVID taught me that it doesn't have to be a bar full of 500 screaming people.
Just at David Sandvich's house.
I'm just saying, but having, you know, sometimes, you know, playing for 10 or 20 people that are really there, and you're really in the moment with people that you feel the vibe for, it changes everything. It really does.
And we also had recently the standard downtown for Vixen party.
That was fun.
Yeah, and I showed up, you know, because Chris had invited me. And then all of a sudden you saw me, you were up on stage, you were like, oh, Patty's here. Holy cow. That was an amazing night with fire throwers, and I mean, my goodness, what was it like to be on stage for that?
It was just so much fun, and that's kind of the beauty of playing with Red Hannah and playing solo shows. I wouldn't want to do just one or the other. You know, I wouldn't want to be just, you know, Sideshow Bob, and I wouldn't want to do just Red Hannah. Like, I have the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that you're doing a lot on the beach. I was researching kind of like where you're playing right now, and you're doing a lot on the beach.
It's I play the new Margaritaville. I'm back at Pink Shell. Pink Shell is open again.
Yes.
And the Whale on Fort Myers Beach, which got completely destroyed in the hurricane. We've been operating there under a tent for the last year. And so coming up on, let me take a look at the dates here. On May 19th, they're having the groundbreaking on the weekend of the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th. And they're going to have 3 days of live music. And then the very last show, we've been playing only acoustic shows on the beach ever since the hurricane. So the very last show, we're going to have Jet Sound come in, bring in the whole Bike Night production, and we're going to rock the same Red Hannah show we did at Hammond Stadium. So yeah, that's going to be our first electric show back on the beach. And to say I'm pumped would probably be an understatement.
Yeah, so that's May. You said May.
May 19th.
May 19th.
Sunday.
Okay. Oh, very good. And you must know my friends, Bill and Lynn from Fairy Hair.
I do.
Yes.
I love them.
Aren't they amazing?
I absolutely love
Everybody
them.
loves
Yeah, we had them on
Yeah.
the show.
Oh my
See,
God.
I have fairy hair. I do.
You do have fairy hair.
Yes, I have fairy hair.
If you don't know what fairy hair is, and if you're just looking, it is these little tiny luminescent accents that it's subtle,
Yeah.
but it actually what it does it's just a little pop of color that I think it changes people's personalities. I really do.
It does. It does. Like Lynn says, everyone, you know, that comes in always has a smile on their face.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but that's at the Whale, and I know the Whale has a new rendition of what the building is going to look like.
It is going to be 3 stories of live music, and I could probably let the cat out of the bag here. It looks like that I'm going to probably be the entertainment director there.
Nice. Oh,
So I'm going to be personally, it's a passion for me to bring music to Fort Myers Beach. It always has been. It's why I moved down here.
Sure.
And so my goal is going to be to turn the brand new Whale and then their sister location, Sandy Bottoms, into the premier entertainment destination on Fort Myers Beach.
Yeah, because where is Sandy Bottom? Is it close to where the whale was?
It's going to be about a half mile down south on the island.
Oh.
So where the tent is right now and where these events are going to be taking place, that's exactly where the brand new whale is going to be constructed. And they start construction in 3 weeks. That's why we're having this big final party.
Yeah.
They're going to be breaking down the big circus tent and then putting the shovels on the ground.
Oh, wow.
So the goal with Red Hannah is going to be to dust off that parking lot properly.
Yeah.
So they can just pour concrete into the bomb crater that we leave on the 19th. So that's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to talk to Dawn, too. I really need to introduce myself and talk to her. So, Dawn, if you're listening, I would love the opportunity to talk to you as well and have you on the show.
They would be fantastic guests. In fact, I think we're going to be doing some TV promotions coming up to promote this whale event. So if you guys have an opportunity for them to come in before the groundbreaking, I could probably make that happen.
Okay, wonderful. That's amazing. Yeah, so not only do you do Fort Myers Beach, but you're a lot into Cape Coral, at Backstreets, and all the good places too, so.
Yeah, I could give you the laundry list. I actually brought my calendar so I could get it right. So if you're listening to this on Monday, then on Monday night I'll be at Michelli's. On Wednesday I'll be at Backstreets. On Thursday I will be at Midnight Tavern in Naples. On Friday, I'll be at Gulf Harbor. And then on Saturday, I'll be at Wicked Dolphin Brewery 1 to 4. And then Backstreet Saturday night for bike night. So.
Oh, wonderful.
Good for you.
What is the bike night? Say that again.
Bike night is going to be Saturday, May 11th.
Saturday, May 11th.
Yep. And then Red Hannah will be at Backstreets.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good.
When you mentioned the whale, 3 stories of music, you said, now is it going to be... There's a place in downtown Boston that was huge, and every story was a different type of music. Is that going to be the case with this?
It's really going to be an a la carte kind of a situation where we're going to probably choose the music for each floor based on that day's needs.
I see. Okay.
All right. They're going to have a full event stage on the middle floor, which is going to have we're going to have full bands. So bands like Red Hannah, Smoking Aces, those kind of bands will be on the inside stage. And then we're going to have every variation from solos to duos to trios on the other. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
I know a great MC if you ever need one too. Now down the beach, when you say the sister bar or restaurant, whatever it's going to be down, is that like where? Remember the Reef, Bob? Do you remember the Reef?
I think that's where the majority of us in this room met, isn't it?
I think so.
Well, I won't remember. I don't remember. I have no idea. I have no. If you remember the Reef, you weren't there.
True story.
That is kind of funny.
Thanks a lot.
What do you think about
Mildly
Margaritaville? The
entertaining.
new Margaritaville is amazing.
I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I think that thank God that they were under construction when they were, because I started playing on the beach right after the hurricane as soon as possible at La Ola in Times Square, and I always use
Sure.
I always use, I guess, the phrase bomb crater, but it was literally like, we were playing off a generator, and it looked like a war zone.
Oh, wow.
And as I was going down there, and there would be tears, and that's why I'm so aware that music is such an important part of healing, is we would go down to the beach, and the music would make the emotions go full circle.
Sure.
So you would drive over the bridge, you would have a tear, and then the next thing you know, we'd all be playing music and singing together. And it was a nice counterbalance to have, other than having it just be completely heavy. And so, but the reason I say about Margaritaville is as I was going down there playing, Margaritaville was still just the gray center blocks. And every week I'd go down there, they would start to get color on the building. The pastel colors would start to show up. And then the finishes would start to come in. Then the landscaping came in. So I think that it was, the people that wanted to fight against Margaritaville should really change their tune about how vital it was to bring commerce back to the beach. They were the first ones to really open.
Right, and the first one, I mean, thankfully it was just block at the time, when the storm hit. It has been a staple for after the storm. It has been a staple, and it's amazing. If you haven't been out to Margaritaville, come and see Bob. Bob, when do you play there? Do you play in May?
I don't have a gig booked there in May. I was playing there poolside and at La Di Da, and then when spring break came, they switched formats for DJs because it just made more sense. People would rather hear, that kind of stuff in the pool. But I think coming into summer, I'll be back poolside again. That will be the plan.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. And what about Cheeks Bar?
Cheeks, I'm there. I think roughly once a month. I just played there this past Saturday, so I don't have my May date in front of me right now.
Okay.
Although I probably should. But if you guys look at my calendar,
it's May.
Yeah. But John, my calendar, it's like I normally have a completely empty calendar the following month, and I always scramble the last minute. But this is a little different this year. This is probably the first time that I filled in so much of my work schedule in advance. So it's a little bit. I like to be a little more fluid than this, but also I can't really say no to these. Look at these places I play are the best places in Southwest Florida.
You're absolutely right.
So when they offer me a slot, I would be absolutely silly to not take it. So rather than be as free spirited as I have in the past, I'm just kind of being a little bit more of an adult.
One of the TV stations did a spot on you right after the hurricane. Is I was saying that's my friend Bob, and you were sitting down on a chair. There's nothing around you but a few. There was some kids and there was like a few people. That was like the first show you did, I think, or the first attempt you did. And when it wasn't an attempt, you were actually playing and singing because I heard you. And I said, "There's my friend Bob." And I just and that's we don't talk every day or we don't talk every month, but I see you. I see you, and that's a real important thing. Do you know what I mean, Patty, when I say I see him? I don't mean he's out there. I see him. I see his heart.
Yes.
Because music is the language of the heart.
Right. Yes, and a lot of people do. I mean, Bob, since we started the show, I think this is show number 7, everyone has come in and talked about you in a good way, And, it's your heart and also giving back to the community, friendship, and also, the School of Rock is amazing.
Well, if anyone doesn't know what the School of Rock is, it is a brand new teaching facility that showed up in Southwest Florida. I think probably about 3 years ago. By my friend Doug Harris brought it into our world, and I don't think that anyone will ever understand the long-term impact that that's going to have.
Where is it?
It is located on Daniels Parkway.
Daniels Parkway. And how do children sign up for that?
Well, I mean, the School of Rock and Tabarrini Foundation are two separate entities.
Okay.
The Tabarrini Foundation, what we do is we provide funding for kids that might not be able to afford School of Rock.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then, so, we never want a financial barrier to stop a kid in Southwest Florida from being able to access playing music.
Right.
And we've never had to in 14 years, so it's a miracle.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, that's just amazing because, my generation, I grew up north. So I grew up in New Jersey and I was very close to New York City, where there were plenty of music. There were so many, Howard Stern and everything in the 80s, so I was around music all the time. So I really kind of, feel for the kids nowadays that, are in the transition of, okay, we want to support music. We want to show them how to play guitar and how to play piano. Don't let those things go away because, this is our future that we're handing this over to.
Well, I'm always learning, and my approach is always evolving. And one thing that we've been doing, I guess, in the last year is we've been handing out these little egg shakers at these shows, and and the kids get to take them home. But I think that what it is you don't have to be a professional musician to access the fun feeling of playing music.
Right.
Sometimes it really is. I mean, we all did it in kindergarten. Remember when they would hand out that box of junk? We would all have a little marching band and march around the class.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something kinetic that when you get a room full of people all going to a song at the same time, and then whether it be Sweet Caroline or whatever, when we all do it together, here's the best analogy I could come up with. It's like you can run a car off the battery, or you can run a car with an alternator. Mm-hmm. So if you run it off the battery without an alternator, that battery is going to drain and go down. When we play music together, it's like having an alternator, and we're constantly pouring gas in the tank. Mm-hmm. And what it does, we can go faster, farther, and longer when we do it together. My shows are much more like a bunch of friends at a campfire. It's not me singing to you, broadcasting like a radio station.
Yeah.
It's a shared conversation.
Right.
So that's why my shows don't, it's same with Red Hannah. We don't use a set list. It's like we read the room in real time and say what feels like this would be something that we would all enjoy together.
Sense. Makes perfect sense.
Because otherwise, you write some hypothetical set list for some crowd that it doesn't work for, and then I change it on the fly. Why did I spend that time writing a set list? So we learned that over years, and then sometimes it's a little bit challenging to try to get the information to the next 3 guys on a loud stage what the next song is.
Sure.
But you guys will kind of enjoy it now that you know that that's what we do. It might be a fun thing to watch. Be like, I wonder how Bob's going to try to explain to these guys what the next song is.
Sure.
And that's always my job is to call it out and try to get the information over to the other 3 guys.
Yeah.
Red Hannah is a great band, and you are a great musician, and you are a great heart and spirit. But why don't we give some of the guys in Red Hannah some credit? Tell us who's in Red Hannah and what they play.
We've got, I guess, probably my dream band that I'm in right now. It's like we talked about Vic Jimenez, who's our bass player, who's not only is he my best friend, him and I actually Roger's known us, and you've known us back since the old days, and we came from a pretty colorful party past. The miracle of our friendship is him and I both stepped off the train the very same day, the very same time.
I remember that exactly.
Nice.
And we'll be coming up on 18 years, and we're still
Amazing.
playing a band together. And Vic he's not only just a great friend and a great, all things to talk about, he's a phenomenal singer, a phenomenal bass player, and a phenomenal songwriter.
Wow.
So, I mean, I always tell people during the shows, I said, make noise for Vic Jimenez, the heart and soul of Red Hannah. He really, truly is.
Wow.
And then our guitar player, Tyler Klusner, another just absolute, just monster talent, and just one of my dearest friends.
Tyler's awesome.
Tyler's great. He's a great singer, and it's funny because his quote-unquote character is like the grumpy gnome. Nothing could be nothing could be further from truth in the real life, And I guess I'm going to tell a little bit of a personal story. When our friend James from Soapy Tuna was diagnosed with cancer, and we did fundraising, and this is I'll probably get a little emotional saying this, but this is what really told me that Roof Easy was something I needed to get involved with. Is Jason gave James a $10,000 donation to help fight his battles. And I said that any company, I mean, Jason's like a little brother to me anyways, but I said that any company that is going to take their success and leverage it to really give back to the community, I said that it would be crazy for me to not get involved because it's only going to expand my ability to help.
Sure.
And I would never want to sell somebody a roof that doesn't need it.
Right.
My whole thing is if you need it, look how many people in Florida need roofs. If you need a roof in Florida, you come to me and I will make sure you get hooked up with a trusted company that's going to do the job right and is going to follow through.
Right.
And is going to make sure that what you're paying for is what you're getting. So that's my association with Roof Easy.
Okay, Roof Easy.
but yeah, it's Roof Easy, and they're just a fantastic company. The amount that they give back to the community, that the situation with James is only one example.
Sure.
These guys are constantly, after the hurricane, I want to say they gave away at least 10 roofs to families that need them free of charge.
Wow, that's amazing.
It really is. I mean, what other company does these kind of things?
Sure. Yeah. Did they feel like maybe we're at the end of new roof? Not new roofs, but new roofs of the storm.
No, I think that I still drive around and I
going.
still see blue tarps everywhere.
Right.
And a lot of people are still fighting their insurance.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just kind of waiting for, the stars to line up. And with that being said, if somebody needs a roof and you need a contact, can I give my phone number?
Yes, absolutely.
239-910-5286. Call me or text me, and like I said, I will just try to get my team out there to give you some honest answers. And if you don't need a roof, if all you need is a patch, let us do that for you. But let's help put Southwest Florida back together.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, Sideshow Bob, thank you so much for coming in today.
Happy to see my friends.
Yeah, so you must have grown up here.
I did not grow up here. I
You didn't?
moved down here in the 90s to play music in Southwest Florida specifically.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was from New England, and my family used to come down here. My mom used to snowbird. We had a restaurant in New York, and then once she was smart enough to figure out that New York winters were not that fun, she started, we had a seasonal restaurant, so she could close up for the winter and come down here. And I used to come visit her, and when I did, there was just something about this area that it had a pull. And I was coming down here before I was even old enough to get into bars, let alone play in bars. So my love affair with Southwest Florida goes back to the 70s. I actually stayed at the Lonnie Kai with my mom the very first year they opened.
Wow, very first year?
The very first
Oh my
year. It was like the new spot, and my mom's like, we're gonna go stay here for a night when I was down here visiting. I was like, and that was one of the, so it's funny how life turns out, because eventually I came down here and I became a regular entertainer there, and then I became the entertainment director there, and it was one of those things where I said, sometimes you don't know how the story's gonna line up in the long run, but my history with the Lonnie Kai in Southwest Florida,
wow,
it's and that's why I think I'm so passionate about bringing music back to the beach.
Sure.
It's literally why I came down here. That's why after the hurricane, I was like, if you got a generator, I will come down there and I will play, and that's exactly what we did.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I think if Lonnie Kai is listening, I think you need a little Sideshow Bob tag on there.
A little plaque.
1979. Yeah, that is very cool. Wow, so, and that was just for a summertime visit then to the Lonnie Kai.
It was actually a school time, because my mom used to, she used to come down in the winter, so it was like one of my school breaks, so probably, January or...
Oh, yeah, you probably, you've seen it change. I've been here since I started visiting in 96. So, yeah, so definitely same kind of thing, parents for coming down here and visiting, and just loved it here. And so I moved here permanently in 2003. And you just have that feeling when you wake up every morning. It's still that Florida feeling, like you're here.
I love it. It was always, I don't know what it was about Florida that always just seemed so, I guess, like picture perfect romantic in my mind. I guess growing up in upstate New York and Vermont and New England, where the winters would be challenging, and sometimes you'd have, the gray skies and all that stuff. There's something about the Florida sky,
Yeah.
and the color of the Florida sky. And then when you silhouette the palm trees against it,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where I always remain grateful.
Sure.
That things turned out where I landed here and am in the position I am to not only play music here, but also be a leader and I guess continue to grow music here.
Sure, absolutely. Where is your base? Is it in Cape Coral or is it Fort Myers?
It is actually Cape Coral now. I
Okay.
moved in Cape Coral in 2020, but Fort Myers, I mean, it's the whole, I guess Lee County, I guess is what I call,
Sure.
my
Yeah.
main territory.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so definitely go out there to the beach. You can find Sideshow Bob definitely at the Whale. You said Sundays, correct?
Sundays at the Whale for 2 more Sundays at the Whale. I will be there this Sunday for Mother's Day, solo, and then the following Sunday I will be there for the final show at the Whale before they break it down. So Red Hannah will be playing at the Whale
Okay.
with full concert production, the same exact show we did at Hammond Stadium with Matchbox 20 and Don Felder,
Wow.
and so it's gonna be the real deal. So our first electric show back on the beach.
Oh my goodness. So that is on the 19th, correct?
That's the 19th. Spread the word on that one because that one's gonna be a party that I would like to see as many of our friends as possible.
May 19th. Yes, I'll definitely put out the word for that for sure.
Please
Yeah,
do.
I can make you a flyer and everything.
That'd be fantastic.
Roger.
Roger, you're officially invited.
Yes, thank you.
That's amazing.
Roger, you're always officially invited.
I know. I always feel invited.
You should. I love you, brother.
Yeah, you're the man.
Yeah. Roger is my help when John needs a little bit of taming and put out in the.
Roger's like your Vic.
Yes, yeah.
He's the emotional counterbalance to John's craziness.
Yeah, John usually needs a timeout seat, doesn't he? He needs a timeout chair in the corner.
Sometimes, for sure.
He does.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and you kind of go back way far with John as well. You
I
guys
really
were talking
do.
about.
So like when I walked in the room and like so I saw Roger through the glass,
Yeah.
it was like my heart started to pitter patter a little bit because I had no idea that he was going to be here.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Blackbeard's Tavern just did a benefit for the Tabarrini Foundation as well, and for
Brian Carter.
Brian Carter that just passed away.
If you don't mind, I'll take the story from here
Yeah.
because this is another example of our community and the miracles of what we're trying to accomplish in action. So we just lost our good friend Brian Carter, who was not only a local musician that we all knew and loved. I was actually the one that used to book him at the Lonnie Kai.
Oh.
So he was not only I guess that we had that professional relationship, but I also admired him as a singer and a player. He was just incredibly talented.
Mm-hmm.
And when he passed away, it was one of those situations where, in order for us to kind of move forward with his loss, one of the first things my friend Tequila Tom said, he says, "Well, let's talk about putting together a scholarship in Brian's name."
Right.
So we established, and these things move very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We established the scholarship in his name. They did that fundraiser, and now we've got a brand new scholarship student with the Brian Carter Scholarship that is at School of Rock. Her name is Lyric. She's a drum student. She's got her full ride paid for.
Wow.
And she not only got her scholarship, but she just got a nicely donated drum kit. So her very first lesson was her teacher showed her how to set up her kit at home so she could practice. So it went from losing our friend to a month later, the music carries on in his name. How cool is that?
Wow, that's amazing.
He sang and played guitar.
He did sing. Okay,
But
yeah. He did our bike nights at Blackbeard's Tavern, and he was amazing every Thursday night.
I'll tell you, he could. Here's the ongoing joke for musicians. People are like, play Freebird.
Yeah.
and most musicians, when you say that, you either get angry or you walk off the stage or you do it.
Yeah.
He would play when someone requests Freebird, sit down, because when he would rip that guitar solo on acoustic, that would absolutely just drop jaws.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm a guitar player, and so when I say that when When he would roll up his sleeves and light it up,
Yeah.
you knew that you were dealing with somebody that took their craft seriously. He would just absolutely destroy it. So
Wow.
that's one of my favorite Brian memories, is watching him on the Lani Kai Beach stage, just
Yes.
absolutely blow people's minds with his acoustic rendition of it, because it would just be him
Sure.
with an acoustic guitar, and then he was in a duo called Two Can Do,
Yeah.
and or Two Can Duo, I should say. And so it was just him and a conga player, and so all the guitar work was done exclusively by Brian. There was no other guitar player. They weren't playing the tracks. It was all done live,
Right. Yeah.
and he would just absolutely knock that one square over the fence, home run every time.
Yeah, that's what he used to do when he came into Blackbeard's Tavern. That's, he had the duo. And so that was amazing. Yeah, every Thursday night. Yeah, and you know who else was talking, let us know? Chris from Thunder Beach, Chris Day. Yeah, he said that he was taking a lesson. He was taking a lesson at the school, actually, I think.
Well, School of Rock definitely has an adult program as well. Which,
Okay.
if anyone wants to expand their musical, I took some lessons there myself. And no matter how good you are,
Right.
you can always learn more.
That's amazing.
And so it doesn't matter what your skill level is. It doesn't matter what your age is. If you would like to, kind of up your game, or even just explore music, go to School of Rock Fort Myers and just check it out.
Oh, that is very
It's
cool.
it's such a great program. And I'll tell you this, and this is a fact, that the School of Rock Fort Myers house band is probably the best band in Florida, better than mine, better than any band you'll see in town.
Wow.
Wow.
Have you seen them lately?
No.
Raj, it will blow your mind.
Looking forward to it.
I'm telling you, these kids shred, and the professionalism that they learn, the camaraderie they learn, the way that they segue from one song to the other, the harmonies, the guitar solos. I'm telling you, these guys, I'm not joking.
Wow.
As soon as these guys are 21, I'm going to be begging you for a radio job.
Nice.
Wow.
They're going to be kicking my old butt right off the circuit, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they do when these guys enter the full-time professional music industry down here.
Yeah, it is
Wow.
amazing. I know that they do, a lot of times they'll do like the downtown music walk.
Hmm.
They have them set up there a lot as well.
They literally play all over.
Yeah.
They play the Naughty Parrot. They play Rusty's in Naples. They're like, you could catch the School of Rock house band literally all over Southwest Florida. So if anyone hears that they're going to be playing, do yourself a huge favor and go check it out.
That's
And
amazing.
here's another thing that's kind of cool about that is when these guys are doing these shows, they're fundraising for the Tabarrini Foundation.
Nice.
So it's one of those things where they are helping the students that they play with that might not be able to have that option without the financial assistance. So again, it's a self-perpetuating machine.
Yeah, that's
It's always moving forward. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate your dedication to the community, and there's always great times that come out of everyone that you're friends with, and that covers a lot of the community, really, because every time because Sideshow Bob, it just comes out of everybody. So we just want to thank you so much for being part of the community.
I'm not sure I know many people who don't know Bob.
Yeah, right. Yeah, is there anyone that doesn't know Bob? It's kind of
Well, I'm trying to stay below the radar of the CIA and
yeah,
and
right.
FBI.
Yeah,
I'm
kind
sure
of like Two-Toe Tony. You actually know Two-Toe Tony.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes, he's met Two-Toe Tony, and you know what? We haven't seen you in the gym in a while, so.
Yeah, I need to get back in.
Bob,
Yeah, I got to switch my musical goals and start incorporating fitness back in there as well.
yeah, so.
Well, health and fitness. I'd rather be. It's not about my ego. I just want to be healthy.
Yeah. You had actually just played in Orlando. Do you go back and forth to Orlando a lot?
But Orlando is actually my escape from Southwest Florida.
Okay.
I spend so much time in the bars, and I will probably try to explain this as articulate as I can. I am a fan of color and design and art.
Okay.
So I go to Disney and I go to things like
Nice.
the resorts, because when you absorb these big bays of color, it
Yeah.
recharges something inside of you.
It really
I
does.
really try to give as much away as I can as possible, but you can't give it away if you don't have it.
Right.
So to me, it's very important that I just went to the Epcot Flower Festival, and I didn't even know it was the Flower Festival until I walked in.
Wow.
And if you've never been to the Epcot Flower Festival, you might be like, "What are you talking about?" They literally, I think they have probably 15 to 20 million blooms planted throughout the park,
Yeah.
and it is just these huge, basically bays of live, living, breathing color. There's something a camera doesn't reproduce it. It's something that when you experience it with the natural sunlight and you see these big artistic displays that are painted with flowers, it just like I don't know. For me, I think everyone's got to find out what lights them up. That stuff lights me up. It really does.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, that really gives me a little bit more information because sometimes I was wondering, I said, does he play there? And then you also said something about the casino.
Well, I play at the casino. I'm there every other Monday.
Is it Immokalee?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So every other Monday I play at the Zigzag Lounge out there. And that's another thing where my schedule is so erratic and I guess crazy because I guess that's the ability of, or the desire of being able to morph into different situations.
Sure.
So the show I do at the casino is certainly not the show I do at Cheeks Bar and Grill.
Right. Yeah, you have to feel the crowd.
Yeah, and so sometimes I can be more subdued and more quote unquote professional.
Yeah.
And sometimes like tonight, or not tonight because the show is airing this week, I'll be playing at the new Buddha. And since they've taken the new over, this show's airing after I play there, but it will be my first show since they've had new owners is Sideshow Bob at the Buddha.
Oh, wonderful. Mm-hmm. Oh, very good.
And that was the first brick and mortar business I played after the hurricane. The Buddha was still standing.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they had power and they were still standing, I think that probably the following week that we did a solo show there, just to start to breathe some normal life back into whatever we could.
Yeah. Yeah, all the bands that I've talked to in the area, you know, like the new owners of the Buddha, and they have really been bringing some good business over there, for sure.
Well, they changed the business model. They instead of being like the 10 till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Venue, they're now like my show, my solo show there is going to be 6 to 9. When Red Hannah plays there, we play 8 to 11.
Right.
And I think, let's be honest, that the younger generation, I mean, the School of Rock kids might change that, but most kids in college, they would rather see a DJ in here than to go see a live local band. So the demographic of the people that are drawn to that stuff is older. So it only made smart business sense to shift those hours earlier. We don't want to be out till 2 a.m. anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's what Bad Latitude, Dan Sharp, he said the same thing. He's like, you don't tell me with a good time that I play till 9 and I get to go home after that, So yeah, it seems like the new hours have been really working well.
It's great.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that it shows somebody that's paying attention to, you're not waiting for Blockbuster Video to become profitable again.
Sure.
You've got to evolve with the times.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
So I think that it's smart, just paying attention to what the market is actually asking for.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, well, definitely. Today is Monday, and you'll be playing at Michelli's tonight. Every time I drive past there, I'm like, how do they fit that many people in there?
They stack them on top of one another.
Yeah, the Italian food is amazing there. It really is. It really is. But, I mean, it is packed all the time there. Maybe it's when you're playing. Maybe that's, when I drove down
it's not me.
night.
They got a great business. But here's an interesting tidbit is my band A200, the band before Red Hannah, we were the first band to ever play out of Michelli's.
Oh, you were? Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, well, I'm very blessed to have kind of been in a lot of these very unique kind of like pinch me moment things that you might not even recognize them at the time how special they are.
Sure.
But then years later, you're like, wow, that was kind of cool that I was the first person to dust off this tool, or I was the first person to.
Yeah.
I think I might have been the first person to come up with the idea of the pop up, live music delivery, but that was just born out of necessity.
Right.
Because I was home going crazy.
Right.
That's so cool.
I was losing my mind, and people were like, well, why don't you do an online show and we'll pay you? And I was like, it just doesn't feel right to me.
Right.
Like I would rather sing to YouTube with a guitar in my hand than to try to do it through a screen. So somebody kept asking me, they're like, do an online show, and I jokingly said, so look, this was the height of social distancing. I said, open up your window, throw an extension cord out, and I will sing to you through your window before I would do an online show. And then as soon as I said that, a little bell went ding, 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 ding. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go start playing music to my friends in their driveway, and that's exactly what I did.
That should be like a demand now.
Yeah.
When Bob comes back, he needs to definitely bring the guitar.
Yep.
I'll happily do that.
Yeah.
We'd love that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We need that.
Your listeners might not love that, but we'll have fun.
Oh, they will for sure. Yeah, it's always a good time when Sideshow Bob is around. And definitely. We so appreciate all that you do for the community. We definitely appreciate all that you do for the Biker Map and for the riders as well. I
love the bikers and I love the riders.
Yeah, definitely. So you have a bike night that's coming up at
Backstreets is going to be Saturday, May 11th. Cape Coral Bike Night, Red Hannah will be inside.
Oh, that's amazing. So Red Hannah is going to be playing. Wow.
And we're going to crush it.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
It's going to be fun. I love my band. Well, we talked about the band guys real quick. Let me just circle back and talk about our drummer GJ
Sure.
real quick, because we never did. We never rounded out the whole thing. Our drummer GJ lives in Bradenton, and he's been a friend of ours since the dawn of time.
Wow.
And because he lived in Bradenton, we're like, he's never going to want to join this band because it's just the logistics are too hard. And then last year, it was one of those things where the draw of the possibilities that what we could do together, it overcame the inconvenience of us not living in the same town. And so he's been in the band over a year, and the growth we've had in this band since he's become a member has been unbelievable.
Oh.
We've got some really cool stuff. For a bunch of geezers that are still whacking away at it, we got some pretty cool stuff in the mix that's going to be coming up that we'll be excited to share, especially in 2025.
Oh, yeah. When I saw you guys on stage that night, it was just amazing. Like, I had the best time of my life.
That makes me happy.
Oh my goodness.
It's a fun band. It just is. Like the energy that we share, I think people can tell. I always brag about the band, not about our musical ability.
Yeah.
It is like, so you're not going to see four guys that enjoy this craft playing together. Then you're going to see these four guys.
Sure.
Like, we smile, we laugh, we have little inside jokes. Like the whole, it's like a clubhouse, and then you guys are invited to the party.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, when I saw the little car come around, I was laughing. I was like, who thought of this one? That's amazing. Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah, I think it's important to enjoy the process and always be innovative and
Sure.
come up with new ideas.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're so excited that you came on the show today. Thank you so much again for
Thanks
coming
for having
out.
me. I love you guys.
Yeah, and anytime you want to come back to the show, please do, because people, like I said, you got to listen to the show. It's on Mondays at 11, and all you have to do is click onto podcastradious.com and click on Southwest Florida and listen live. And we are on every Monday at 11. And you'll be surprised how many people bring up your name. It's so funny.
Yeah.
This I'm like, where's Sideshow Bob? We have to have Bob on the show.
Yeah.
Well, now that I know that this is the format, and if Roger and John and you were going to be here, the idea of setting my alarm for 9 o'clock is not as daunting.
Yeah.
The payoff is well worth it. I'm so glad I came.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and definitely check out Bob. He's going to be at the Whale and always on Fort Myers Beach for sure.
Always.
Check him out in the Cape, and we're so excited. Thank you so much, and we will have you back soon. Thanks, Bob.
The man.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in to the Biker Map Live, and we'll see you next Monday.
Perfect.